everyone's
Nice.
Look, it's like being in a real studio. There's like 3 cameras going on.
Okay.
Are the cameras on? Is everyone rolling?
We roll.
Take one. Okay.
Are you sure that you're in the right position?
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to become the director all of a sudden, but okay.
Right.
Hello.
I'm sat with Heartbreak. I'm Pop from the Chapman family, by the way, in case those who don't recognise my face from the NME.
That would be
I think so too. But I'm sat with the band Heartbreak after their tremendous set at Manchester Academy this evening. And I'd just like to say, hello Heartbreak.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hello. Right, okay, I've been asked to conduct this interview in a very professional and brilliant style.
I hope
so. The first question what I'd like to ask is, now I know that both of you have death metal backgrounds. Is that true? Is that both of you? Or is that just Ali or is that just Sebastian? Or is it like you both are into the death metal scene?
Yeah.
Is it more thrash or is it death metal?
Ali's more in the thrash and I'm more into death, but obviously Ali is much more of an expert in metal in general. But, but I'm very fond of it, yeah.
Were you both in metal bands to start with? Is that sort of the background that you came from?
Ali was.
You were in metal
I
bands?
discovered metal about 5 years ago as something that was incredibly relevant and something that some stupid people have missed.
Yeah. I mean, is that an influence for the sort of sound of Heartbreak? Because obviously the sound is sort of, I was saying to Ali earlier, that a lot of your sort of bass lines and drum beats are very sort of heavy and in the drive, the sort of songs, in a very similar way that metal does. And is that sort of a thing that comes from metal band?
Thrash. Funk.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, do you sort of like build sort of the songs around the bass lines and then sort of put the keyboard riffs in, like obviously like a metal song you would have a driving sort of standard line, like a standard sort of repetitive sort of riff sort of thing. Whereas is that sort of way that you would write your songs?
I think we generally start with the
Do you start
drum
with the drums and then work up?
Drums and bass.
Yeah. Always really.
Yeah. Just an exception. Yeah.
And then another thing sort of, Sebastian was telling me the other night that an influence, a major sort of ethos and influence for the band is death.
It's yeah.
Is that, where does that come from? Like, what is that? How does that reflect itself in the music?
Well, the problem with your question here, sorry, I don't want to.
No problem at all. Please.
But there's a problem with your question, I'm afraid. And the problem is that tomorrow we're going to be delving into the subject in more depth, and it could be rather to go to at the moment. Because the thing is that when you talk about death, you have to talk about dance.
Yeah.
And that's, you talked about, I could choose some dance and stuff. But I wanted to choose a philosophy behind it, which is mainly about death. So everything's around death.
It's the other thing, I mean, like a lot of your lyrics are sort of quite uplifting and quite sort of romantic and sort of harken back to sort of like quite, I mean, I hate to sort of throw the sort of 80s comparisons in there because it's very lazy, but a lot of your lyrics are very reminiscent of like 80s bands and 80s lyrics where the main focus is on dancing and fun and sort of enjoying yourself, and like there's a song on your album called Living Just for Fun and things like that. I mean, is that sort of important as well, other than like death and the dark elements of the songs, is sort of enjoying yourself and love and things like that important as well?
The thing is, if you're enjoying life, then the first thing that comes to mind is what is stopping this enjoyment, and at some point is death. So whenever you are very passionate about like the elements of your life, then the first thing that anyone with a minimum of mathematical abilities, the first thing that this person would think is what's stopping this? What's stopping this? Death.
Is there any particular song that sort of references that the most? Is there any one song that sort of really sort of is the sort of heartbreak anthem, that, as it were, like the sort of song that represents everything that you're about, the sort of one sort of song, lyrically, musically?
I think Soul Transport.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Soul Transport, that's one of my favourites as well. That's what I was thought. Is that right? Because that's what's really exciting lyrics as well, like it was speaking about it.
Yeah, just express the whole
yeah. Because obviously, and that song, that's
going on. I'm confused. I was like,
you have to turn that
what's going on?
See, it's getting serious. It's like parking.
Get in!
Yeah, it gives you like this the way you're like at an Amazon.
You have to come a bit further so that we can see you.
Hello. Welcome to the interview. Is there any questions you'd like to Heartbreak about their sound, their ethos? We touched on a song that Heartbreak have called Soul Transplant, which is apparently the song that represents the ethos of the band. And I was just about to comment on how the lyrics of that song particularly have a lot of 80s references, Mr. T, Molly Ringwald, pink trench coats, things like that. Is that sort of like, was that purposeful, or is that sort of an area that you're knowledgeable in and chose to write lyrics about?
Well, obviously you're talking about enjoying life, but if you really, if you pay attention to that song in detail, you know, it's mostly dealing with the past, what's gone, how to deal with that.
And that's why I think where the age references come from, sort of referencing the past, things like that.
Yeah, and it's about how you deal with the story that is gone in a time where time is perceived in a very particular way, no? Because of so much information, the way that we perceive the passage of time is broken by social media. So, yeah, it's about how do you deal with time in society that is schizophrenic and where the passage of time has been broken.
Like a song that I like, my favourite song that I use, I mean, like, is the obvious song, We're Back, is like one of my favourite ones. And like, I remember reading an interview with you both saying that We're Back was sort of talking about Italo and the comeback it had made from the disco back onto people's radios. I mean, do you think you're sort of heading up that sort of bringing back Italo and bringing back that sort of culture and scene and lyrics and sort of music and that sort of like, because your music, I mean, it doesn't, I wouldn't say that sort of, your music isn't really Italo per se, but it does reference Italo quite sort of.
Yeah,
you can draw a line from the Italo scene towards your songs that I think personally.
Yeah, you can, but we are definitely not Italo. I don't think you sound anything like
No, I don't, you really don't, like, there's no sort of sound.
Yeah.
But was that song sort of your sort of homage to Italo, but sort of modernised version of it?
Yeah, in a way, yeah. I don't know, it's sort of about Italo ghosts, how, you know, they came about what the situation today, and it's a sort of comparison in some ways.
It's it's bringing back, it's not necessarily a genre, but the spirit of those years, and the excitement of all these discoveries of technology and what you can do with it.
I mean, I don't know much about Italo. I mean, what is the main sort of ethos of Italo? Like, I know that there was sort of influences from the Precinct 13 soundtrack, and sort of synthesizer music and things like that.
It's kind of born out of prog and punk, post-punk as well. And in fact, Italo is very punk in a lot of ways. Just like the loads of film productions you get with the early ones, just this costume, best ones, capture best stage. Real punk, sort of people just doing DIY.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think it's just one of the many influences.
What would you say was the main influence that you had? Then obviously Italo is one, and then obviously metal is another. Is there any sort of other genres that you would draw from, lyrically or musically?
Obviously, electro and techno.
Techno and disco as well.
Obviously.
I mean, how does it evolve? Like, where would that come from? Like, obviously I've heard a few different versions of the story.
We were both really into Italo at the time that we performed the band. I mean, like, really
Kind of, yes, life changing.
It was, yeah. So I think it was a shared love of that at the time, but of course since then we've kind of developed different areas as well. I've got lots of ideas for the second album that will be very different to the first. So.
And you've got an EP out, so is that very different to sort of the first album, whereas the first album Cloud are very sort of quite simple for, like, it's mainly like, I mean, the songs are very quite simple melodies, the beats and they're very driven, the lyrics are very sort of like repetitive and hooky. Like, is the second EP sort of an exploration of that, or does it push further past that?
No, it continues the concept of the album. What will very likely change dramatically is the new material that we're going to be writing soon for the second album.
Is the new material heavier or lighter, or is it more
We
accessible?
don't know yet.
Anything, but
It definitely, I mean, feels like we will be going in a
more sort of slightly more organic, maybe less abrasive.
and